Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the December 2020 forecast for life path number 6. Sixes. Okay. So December is a 7 universal energy month. And so what that means is that energetically, we may be feeling collectively the push to seek the answers to the bigger questions. And so what that means is we're going to need to take a closer look at our own truths and the truths of others and how we can integrate those energies. And so again, it's like looking at within and without, above and below. And so you may feel the push or the pull to take a deeper look at your connection to your own spirituality, to your own higher consciousness, and how you integrate that into your physical 3D reality. You may be called to take a closer look at the information or the beliefs of others, or what's coming into you and how that feels to you from within. How does the truth of the reality sit with you when you look at your own truth from within? And how can you kind of work with those energies to find your balance? So another energy of this 7 is about rest, introspection, stillness, and solitude. And so you may find that you are needing some alone time and just that time away from others and away from others' energies, and to unplug, to disconnect, to stop looking at social media for the day or for a few hours, and just give yourself that opportunity to disconnect and to go within, to reconnect to self. And so that may come in for you very strongly. So where November was all about, it was a 6 energy, so it was your energy. It was that community and family energy. Now December is really that 7 energy of solitude, of going within, of having your own space. So that can be sometimes difficult for 6s. So just try to work with that energy the best that you can and listen to your body. And if your body is telling you it needs rest or it needs some alone time, then honor that. The other energy coming in this month collectively is around relationships. So I feel like that's going to be highlighted pretty heavily. Our relationships are what show us how to trust, how to distrust. A lot of times the relationships in our lives, they are our greatest teachers, right? Those soul contracts, they are what trigger the healing. They are that help us to evolve, to grow as a spiritual being. And so pay attention to your relationships that are highlighted this month, because they are more than likely trying to show you something or to help you move through something. And so remember, the relationship with self is just as critical and just as important as your relationship with others. So that may be highlighted this month as well. You may also notice a focus on specialization, going back to school, getting some kind of way to further your education, to hone in on your craft, to really focus your energy on something so that your energy is not fragmented and sort of generalized, but rather really focused and specialized. And so that can be around spiritual and personal growth as well. So again, however that comes in for you, but be open and available to take the reins on that. And if an opportunity comes in for you that speaks to you about furthering your education or furthering, some kind of growth or evolution through your experience, then say yes to that, because it is divinely guided. It is offering you some kind of golden nugget to work with. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card to kind of get an overall energy for 6s for December. And you guys got cat spirit, and I love that for you. And cat says, it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. And that's interesting for 6s because you guys are that nurturing, loving energy, right? And so family and community are a big part of your core. And sometimes your need to help others or to see others flourish creates a dependency on them, right? And so it becomes this sort of two-way street. And there isn't a lot of time for alone time or independence when it comes to six energy. You guys really have to work hard to find that balance. And so I do like that this is coming in for you all, especially in a seven energetic month, because it is kind of setting the focus on that individuality and that alone time. So again, if you are finding that you're showing up for others this month and it's just exhausting you, or you're feeling overextended, then this is an opportunity to rein that back in and allow this month to be about you. Allow this month to be about, your own alone time, finding your own independence, finding how you flourish, seeing what, your strengths are, and really sort of, again, specializing that energy, right? Specializing those talents, that innate talent, and taking the focus off community, family, others for the moment, and really shifting that energy back to self. So I do think that's really, really important. If you find yourself this month really forcing yourself on others and trying to, meddle or fix, then that's really your cue to dial it back a little bit and to bring the focus back to self and start there, okay? So looking at the month of December, I've broken it down into 4 weeks. And the first week of December, we have this really beautiful, positive gifts from the universe kind of energy. It's like, it's almost like you feel like you're being showered in love and support and just positive energy, fulfillment, and you just feel like your cup is running over emotionally, which is beautiful. So it's this feeling of fulfillment. And so I like that. And I feel like that's an indication that, you have been focusing the energy back to self and working on what needs to be worked on from within, so that you're open to these gifts and opportunities to come in for you. So I do feel like first week of December, there could be new opportunities, new gifts arriving, sort of serendipitous experiences, that a lot of synchronicity kind of happening. Again, things just kind of falling in your lap. And the call is to enjoy that and to say yes to that, because these opportunities that are coming in for you this first week are allowing for some fast forward movement. If you feel like in the past couple of months you've sort of been stuck energetically, December feels like an opportunity for a lot of forward movement for you, a lot of progression. You just have to be open to the opportunities and say yes to them. And that's where it comes back to shifting the focus from everybody else back onto yourself, so that you don't miss these opportunities that are coming in, and to understand that saying yes to them is not selfish, but is actually very nurturing for self, okay? So beautiful energy this first week of December. And again, by saying yes to these energies, you're allowing for fast movement forward, sort of setting the pace for the coming months for you. Then we move into the second week of December, and there's this energy of kind of coming back to sort of childlike innocence, reconnecting to your inner child, and really connecting to the things that make you feel alive, that bring you passion, that bring you joy, that allow you to grow within and without. So again, it's kind of like, it is this energy of action, but it's inspired action. It's taking action from a place of inspiration, from a place of, that feels really, really good for you. And so it's kind of like there's completion in one area, and you're now looking to the future and how you want to move forward, and you're feeling those inspirations come in. You're feeling that excitement. You're feeling the joy of what's to come and the anticipation of what's to come. And it's really this powerful energy that if you can harness it and use it, then you'll be open to, how to take action through your own inspiration and passions, okay? And not doing things out of obligation, but taking action from taking inspired action, basically, right? Not taking action out of obligation. There's a difference. And sometimes sixes can get caught up in that sense of obligation to others. And so again, it's kind of like putting that wand down for a second, right? Putting that stake in the ground and claiming that the action that you're going to take, the movement forward that you're going to take, is going to be inspired action that feels good for you, okay? And the rest will fall into place. So just this call the second week of December to reconnect with self, reconnect with your inner child, allow that inner child to express itself and not feel shame for the desires that come up for you the second week of December. Really allow and honor those desires and that passion that comes up for you. Then we move into the third week of December, and it's interesting. There's this call to release something that might be a little bit difficult at first to release, but it's something that you know needs to be released. So this could also be your need to please others, that people-pleasing energy that sometimes can plague a six. So there's this need to release something that's no longer fulfilling for you, that's no longer bringing you any sense of joy. There's almost like this feeling of like what you're showing up to is out of sense of obligation, and that's not sustainable. That's not fulfilling anymore. And so it's like you've now had a taste of what it feels like to take inspired action, and you know where your passions lie, or you have an idea, and so you're meant to follow those inclinations, those callings, and leave behind that sense of obligation to please others, to be the perfectionist, to do the things that you're just not really, it's not possible to do or to sustain. And so again, it's kind of like, this is an energy of you have an opportunity to break free and move forward, but something is holding you back, and that something is yourself. And so again, it's kind of like that energy of the seven saying, seek the answers, seek your own truth. Pay attention to the within and the without. What does the within tell you? How do you feel about this? What does the without show you? How are you showing up? What are your actions? What do they signify? Really take a closer look at that, as well as take a look at, your spiritual connection, your connection to source. Is that channel open? And are you taking those inspirations and actually turning them into something in the physical through your actions, or are you continuing to show up in the way that others have told you you need to show up? So again, it's kind of like a lot of internal work, the middle of December. But you have the path has been cleared for you. You can move forward and take that inspired action and release those mindsets holding you back, those addictions, whatever they are. Sometimes we can have addictions to that desire to fix others or to fulfill others or whatever, and that's just a cup that you'll never fill. And so, but continuing to try to fill it, there's an addiction to that sometimes. And so again, however this comes in for you, but there's this feeling of needing to release that need to please others, that need to be the perfectionist, to understand that life is messy, the universe is messy, there is no perfection, and part of the joy comes through the exploration, right? So I feel like this third week of December for you could be a little bit of that internal work. You may have a request to do something that you don't feel aligned with doing, and you want to sort of move against the grain a little bit and follow your own truth. And so again, you're going to have opportunities to potentially do that, and it's up to you what you do with that energy. You can stay in the same routine of people pleasing or being dependent on that person for your validation, or you can do what Cat Spirit says and strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others and find your own independence. You think about cats, they're very, very independent. They'll come to you when they're ready, right? They'll be very supportive and loving and nurturing, but when they're ready for that, right? They don't overcompromise themselves to fulfill another. And so again, it's like sometimes sixes can be really fall into that trap. That's just part of the energy of your core and the challenges that you face throughout your lifetime to find that balance. But I do feel like this third week of December, you're going to have an opportunity to do that. And that can be a little bit challenging because it goes against the grain of what you've been told or what you've learned about yourself. But this is really a call to follow your own truth. And then we move into the last week of December. And again, there's just this call to find that balance, to give and receive. That's something that, not all sixes, but a lot of sixes really struggle with is the receiving side of things. So there's really this call to receive as much as you give, right? To allow it to be a an exchange, right? Instead of an extreme. So if you have an opportunity to overgive this week, then there's a call to make sure that you're asking for the support as well, that you are receiving, because then there will be cause for celebration, right? Then you'll find your joy when there's reciprocal exchange of energy. Then there's joy. There's not friction there. But when there's an extreme, then we have friction. Then we have discord. And so again, it's kind of, and sometimes it's got to be you that takes the reins in that. If there's somebody who is used to you always showing up and always giving, and then all of a sudden you change direction and you start to ask for the support now, some people are not going to be able to reciprocate because they're so used to you being the one to constantly give. And so if you're changing, the energy, you're shifting the energy and you're saying, no, I deserve to receive also. Some people aren't going to be able to transition into that energy with you, and you may see a release there. But some people are, and some people are going to feel relieved that they can finally show up for you the way that you've been showing up for them, right? So it becomes a positive exchange of energy. And so you may see an opportunity this last week of December where you have an opportunity to not only give, but also receive. And it's in that receiving that you will have joy, you will feel fulfilled. Just as much as you feel that fulfillment and joy in the giving. Because remember, when somebody tries to give something to us and we block that and we don't accept it, then we are denying them that joy of giving. And so again, there's so much positive energy when it comes to receiving, where not only are we allowing ourselves joy, but we're allowing the person who's trying to give that joy. Okay. So again, it's just this energy. I feel like December for sixes is going to be a lot of internal stuff. But there's a lot of fulfillment and joy to be found in December for sixes. There's a lot of sort of standing in your power and finding your balance and equilibrium. And again, that's coming from sort of resisting that need to constantly do for others or please others or fix others or whatever comes in for you, and bringing it back to self and that self-discovery. And so I feel like for sixes, this 7 energetic month is really going to help you in that self-discovery, in that finding your independence, and in seeing where you're overgiving and where it's time to open up the floodgates to receive. Okay. So really beautiful, positive, transformative energy for sixes in December. I can see where there's like this, you're being prepared for the shift of energy that'll happen in 2021. And it's kind of like you have to recognize your own worth. You have to recognize that it's okay to make mistakes, that nobody is perfect, and that we're not meant to be perfect, right? Like growth and exploration, all that stuff is messy, but that's what makes it fun. So if you take the messiness out of it, then, then it's not as much fun. It's not as exciting. Sometimes there needs to be a little chaos in the perfection, right? So see how it comes in for you, but overall, really beautiful energies for December, really big opportunities for you to find your independence and stand in your own power. And in doing so, you become that much more effective in trying to help others, okay? So I hope that December is beautiful for you. I hope that whatever holiday you celebrate, that it's merry and joyous. And until we meet again, take care for now.